everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am your Batman onesie wearing host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. Yes, it's that time of the day when I get to slip into something a little bit more comfortable. That's all I'm saying. That's right. You can roll your eyes all you like. Joining me from across the pond and wishing this was still on audio is Josh. Josh, how's it going?
Words cannot describe.
Wow.
Wow.
How are you, Freyja?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. Very good. So we're going to start off the pod with some a bit of sad news. At the time of recording, it had just been announced that DC legendary creator Denny O'Neil had passed away at the age of 81. I think everyone knows that Denny O'Neil is synonymous with Batman, as well as Green Lantern and Green Arrow for his take on the social injustice at the time between law and Green Arrow's version of what society should stand for. We'll put you guys on the spot. Do either of you have a favourite Denny O'Neil story that he wrote or edited? Ooh, there's a question.
I like the fact that my favorite's the comic adaptation of Batman 89.
Okay, good call. Good shout. Freyja, you have anything?
Oh.
So if we cast our minds back, he helped revitalize Batman with Man-Bat, created Ra's al Ghul, the drug issue with Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
I love freaking Ra's al Ghul, so yeah,
Cool.
That's my favorite.
Also, he was the editor of Batman during the mid to late 80s, early 90s, so that covered things like the death of Jason Todd, Killing Joke, Dark Knight Rises, not Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight Returns, Nightfall, you know, that whole era, that whole style of Batman with Jim Aparo, Norbury Fogel, Alan Grant, you know, Chuck Dixon.
He also had a lot to do with Batman Nightfall, which I believe you just said.
Yep, huge. His I loved his editorial pieces in the letter pages at the time when everyone was saying how they wanted Batman to be ultra violent and like kill people. So they gave him what they wanted, and everyone complained and wanted Bruce Wayne back. So hey, go figure. He was right.
Yeah.
So rather than a minute silent, I think we'll have a bit of a round of applause for Mr. Denny O'Neil. Thank you for everything that you've done. Okay. And now that we get a chance to talk about some of the legacy characters that you've worked on. So we're going to start off this week with Batman 92, written by James Tynion IV, art by Gullum March, colours by Tomei Murray, and letters by Clayton Cowles, or Cowles even, I should say. Freyja, why don't you start us off on Batman 92? What did you think?
Alrighty. Well, everyone kind of let themselves go in this one. Everyone's super wrinkly. I did like how Batman and Deathstroke, Slade looked. I like that. Freaking Riddler looked really. He had a lot of forehead wrinkles going on, and he was creepy looking, you know. Harley Quinn is in it, and I hate Harley Quinn, and just Harley Quinn. And for some reason, I didn't realize Joker had a new girlfriend, and I missed that comic somewhere along the way.
Batman 89. Batman and Hell Arisen #3, I think it is. Part of the recent push by DC to make the Batman Who Laughs interesting.
Yeah, anyway.
Like I said, it was DC's push. I don't get one way or the other. You know, you all know my thoughts on Judge Death. Okay.
Yeah, so overall, I liked the story. I liked kind of having Deathstroke following Bruce around and being like, this is a daily night for you, huh? Because he's just constantly getting
Yeah.
multiple people, and he also like, why do people live in Gotham?
Yeah. Great
Yeah,
question.
like, I wouldn't, that's for sure. But it was nice. It's also nice having like the side story with Catwoman and Harley. It was just a nice little. That's how you kind of like fluff the pacing a bit. I also like the Bat Train joke. So I really like this. Art wise, besides the super wrinkly everyone, I liked it. For the most part. So I thought it was pretty good.
Um, what did you say? Fluffing the what? Sorry, fluffing the banter. Is that some sort of metaphor? Is it for something else? No.
Fluffing the storyline.
Right,
Last
fluffing the story. All right, okay. Whatevs. Keep it clean. No beacon tits in this one, please. Thank you. We'll get the censorship police on us. All right, okay. I get what you mean about the Riddler. The Riddler looks kind of like an extension of the Capullo Riddler from Zero Year, I think. I think that's probably what they're going for. But I'm just a fan, so what do I know? Josh, what do you think of good old Batman 92?
I enjoyed it. It was nice to actually see villains other than Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have Punchline in there. Yes, Harley's in there. But it was nice to be able to see like the Penguin. It was nice to see Deathstroke. It was nice to see Riddler. Although the design choice of Riddler in this, it was like seeing Jim Carrey's Riddler hadn't changed. So older, just as crazy, orange hair. And something about the suit that Riddler was wearing.
he was too skinny.
Yeah.
Like his collarbones were like really sticking out in the suit.
Oh, and his shoulders were like it looked like his shoulders had been dislocated. But I guess when you get the shit kicked out of you from Batman time and time again, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But I mean, it was a fun read, and it wasn't a typical Batman Joker story. So the fact that again we're getting other villains other than Joker was a nice breath of fresh air, breath of Gotham air.
Well, wouldn't say it's fresh. I kind of agree with you both. I think the ladies are drawn fantastically well. I think some of the Batman Deathstroke panels have kind of been like elongated somewhat to create. That splash page, just the perspective looks a little bit off somewhere. It's like Deathstroke's really broad, and that right arm's really, really chunky, but then his left arm's really, really weak. It's like obviously he must be right-handed. He must be using his right arm. That's all I'm saying.
That just makes me think of, well, let me use my good hand.
Anyway, I thought the colours were great on this book. I'm glad that they explained what the green light was, because I thought it was just like, well, so it's lights, but no, it's supposed to be a barrier of some description, I think. So that was canny. I have a question for all the completists, and bearing in mind I haven't gone back and looked this up, so I need some help on this. What happened to James Gordon? Because did you get killed as part of the last run of Tom King's run or something? Because it's Commissioner Bullock, so where's Gordon?
Maybe he's been committed after being infected.
Yeah,
maybe. Yet Supergirl's flying around a normal self. It's just odd.
Well, there's some things we don't talk about, Johnny.
Yeah, she's a superhero. Gordon was just a cop. He's got to go through prison time, and the superheroes got to not do prison time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. But yeah, I liked it. I like Punchline. I think she's canny for what she is. It's an interesting alternative take. I like the way that Harley and Punchline had that kind of little "you're me 5 years ago" type thing, So that was canny. Interesting to see where this is going to go. Previews have been at it. We kind of know what's heading Batman's way. Freyja, you'll be pleased to hear that allegedly by Batman in '99, Dick Grayson's going to be Dick Grayson again.
Oh, finally.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
This whole Rick BS is fucking stupid.
So, and as for the Joker, well, the next storyline is the Joker War, and there's supposed to be like really big ramifications to that coming up down the line. So we'll see how that goes.
Kill off all these Jokers and be done with Joker for a bit? Because I used to love Joker, and now I'm just sick of him. Like
I don't know about you guys. I enjoyed the panel where Harley takes her big hammer, swings it right into the guy's head, and all you see is the hammer, and then bleh.
Yeah. Cool.
Something so small stood out so much. That's what she said.
Oh.
And there is on page.
It's
16,
a bad joke, I know.
On page 16, there is a sizable couple of attractions on there. So, Freyja, get your beacons out on that one if you want to get in there. Well, overall, I like Guller Match. I love his art. I think he's class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really do. I liked his Gotham Siren stuff. I liked his Catwoman stuff. I liked his stuff when he does indie things. It's a little bit more European. So yeah, I like it all. Great. Cool.
Yeah, no, it was good book.
The only problem I've got is the pacing. The pacing for a story that has a lot of action, the main story doesn't seem to progress very far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because it's all supposed to be like one night, but it doesn't seem to be a great deal of movement. So
yeah,
that's a DC thing all over.
Can I point out something since you've brought my attention to page 16?
Yeah, sure.
Did you look at Catwoman?
Page 16. Go on. What's up with Catwoman?
Look at her ass, or should I say lack of?
Yeah.
It's like a square smear. There's no shape to it. Sorry, it's just.
What's your favorite memory of this podcast? We all stared at Catwoman's ass.
Well, I think they make up for it later on, a few pages on, when she stood over the bargainer or the underbroker or whatever. She's quite glutamus maximus, so I think they repair the slight somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll blame it on the lighting.
I think, to be fair, I think that's Gullum's style, isn't it? He is more abstract at times than realist. So, I guess that kind of has that element on there. But it's a great point. And, I'm looking forward to seeing where this book goes, or this storyline goes at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yet another villain that knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. It's just bonkers. Anyhow.
Might as well just send it to all of them.
Yeah.
Just put up posters at this point.
Yeah. Hashtag. All right. Okay. So as good as Batman is, time to talk about a book that I still can't believe is going on. I can't believe this book's still getting published. I was like, what the? All right. So we're going to dive into Justice League Odyssey number 21. Now, this is written by Dan Abnett, art by Will Conrad, colors by Rain Burrito, and letters by And World Design. Josh, Justice League Odyssey, what did you think?
It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was nice to see Jessica Cruz.
There's no Jessica Cruz in this book.
Is that not just...
I'm being semantic. Go on. What else did you like about it? So Jess is in there, yeah.
You know what? It was better than He-Man. There you go.
Oh man, that's not saying a lot. That's like Freyja saying she likes the letters.
Well,
Yeah.
Um, there was just so much going on in this book.
Mhm.
It was honestly kind of hard to stay on topic because you're either reading what's being said in midst of all this action. Like there wasn't a whole lot of flow to it.
Great.
About like my review of it.
nothing like a planned review, and that was nothing like that at all. All right, okay.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Okay, Freyja. Short but sweet.
Mhm.
What did you think of Justice League Odyssey?
So I was confused
Uh-huh.
because I wasn't keeping up with it. So I was wondering where's Cyborg, where's Starfire, where's Azrael?
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is fair point.
I'm like, where'd they all go? Because I thought they were all together. I am
I-
really happy that Dexter is there because I love him. He's
Mhm.
adorable, adorable evil cat. That was another thing. I'm like, why is Jessica with all of these villains? Because there's even like Blackfire and I was like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, what happened? Why is she with these guys who are the bad guys? And they're fighting Darkseid.
So the way I remember it, and I've got to admit, I only read this book for Jessica Cruz, so I only pick it up every now and again because the character that's drawn like Jessica isn't Jessica. I'm just gonna put that out there. From what I remember of reading this book, in the Ghost Sector, Starfire, Azrael, and Cyborg have been assimilated on different planets who worship them as deities.
Okay.
And then Darkseid has them, or at least has Cyborg, under his thrall in order to conquer the rest of the Ghost Sector. The villains of this piece that Jessica's hanging out with are wanting, for whatever reason that they've got, is they want to stop Darkseid. So the friend of my enemy of my enemy is my friend. There you go. That's kind of the idea that's behind the main thrust of this, from what I remember. But to be honest, the last time I picked this up, Jessica Cruz has got killed and the power ring got obliterated, which begs the question why she's still flying around in a Green Lantern uniform, because the uniform's a figment of the Green Lantern energy, and she's siphoned off some of Darkseid's energy. That's why she's firing yellow blasts, not green blasts, and she's not wearing a Green Lantern ring. So, Dan Abnett, God damn it, get it sorted out. But because it's not Jessica Cruz anyway, I don't care.
How about we just blame it on Barry Allen? He must have done something.
It's Barry's fault.
Yeah, damn you, Barry.
That joke never gets old, ever.
Yeah.
Speaking of Barry, I finally watched the season 6, is it, finale of The Flash today. For a guy that's losing his speed force, that guy seems to still do a lot of running around.
Man, I'm so far behind. I think I'm still in season 4.
Not missing much. So I don't know how you feel, but this book, when it first started out, this book had so much promise. Jessica Cruz was at the height of her powers, you know. Fair enough, they've chucked in Batwing for some unknown reason. They chucked in Cyborg because hey, every book deserves Cyborg, not. And then Starfire, and there was like the idea that it was Jess and Starfire going to get it on, and what's going on. There was some fun to it. Now, and it's not Dan Abnett's fault, because I really like Dan Abnett as a writer. But this is one of those books, very much like Justice League Dark a few issues ago, where I seem to be reading the same thing. It's like, let's set up Darkseid to get Darkseid, and then it doesn't happen. This whole Ghost Sector storyline has been going on for the full 21 issues. And I've got to be honest, I don't think they're anywhere nearer to a conclusion than when at least in Justice League Dark, they've managed to curtail the other world and kind of just doing different things now.
Yeah.
This is just, I agree with Josh a little bit. It's just throw stuff in it. Let's throw stuff in it and see if it works. The only good thing, I think, is the art. Will Conrad's done a great job. When you think how busy this book is, the art's pretty consistent throughout. Frey, did you spot any kind of art glitches? Because you're our art glitch girl.
So there is a spot on page 13 when Jessica's shooting out her little laser thing.
Uh-huh.
She has a total of 3 fingers. And I'm not joking.
Jessica Cruz, welcome
Yeah.
to The Simpsons.
What in the ass?
Supposed to be like spreading her hands, but I've never seen your hand. I think they forgot a finger or two.
Finger or two.
Yeah.
So she gave them the 3-finger special. Okay.
Oh, gross. Anyway,
Well, what has this podcast devolved into? It's always been there. What am I saying devolved? What am I saying devolved? It's like gutter level, then us below that.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the line of where we shouldn't cross, and we just jump right over.
Yeah, the lines are dot to us right now. Yeah, fair point. I think there are some glitches, but I just wish it would just move on. And I wish Jessica would just be Jessica. I'm sick of this. Like, non-Jessica entity just sucks.
Maybe when she says what just happened on that panel with the 3 fingers, she's not really wanting to know what's going on elsewhere. It's why the hell do I have 3 fingers?
That's why I haven't got a Green Lantern ring. My ring finger's missing.
Yeah.
God
That
damn it,
is.
Where'd I put that down?
Yeah, I just.
looking.
Yeah, I would agree. Very Nightcrawler. I can't even say Ninja Turtle-ish because that you'd at least be able to tell. This, yeah, Nightcrawler.
Oh my good God. Right. Whilst we have a bit of a search through this week's comics for the rest of Jessica's Hand, why don't you check out one of our other ads for one of our other shows on the UCPN? All right? Don't go away. We'll be back in 2, possibly with 2, you never know, after this.
Beyond the world of DC and Marvel, there is a world that opens the imagination in ways that you've never known. The world of indie comics is here, with comic books that you didn't even know existed. Thanks to Dodgy, Al Mega, and the random dude Josh, you too will have your eyes open to new books in the indie comic universe. Check out Flipside Focus, only on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Definitive Crusade. Josh and Frey, we've just finished looking through this book, so I'm sorry to say we have not yet found Jessica's fingers. It's just a sad day. Sad day. Oh well, let's move on. Up next, I'm going to throw right under the bus. This is Freyja's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to talk her out of it, but no. So we're talking Batwoman, Supergirl, World's Finest, #2. Now, this comes in 2 parts. 2 parts on a 17-page comic. It's bonkers, but here we go. The Batwoman part is written by Sanya Anwar, with art by Chad Hardin, and colours by Chris Sotomayor, and letters by Rob Lee. The Supergirl part was written by Andrea Shea, art by Mike Norton, colours by Marissa Louise, and letters by Comic Craft. There you go. 2 creative teams in full for essentially 17 pages. Freyja, what have we done? Just because I made you read Justice League Odyssey doesn't mean you have to pick this. It's just crap. It's like a take a joke. No.
It's more like when you throw a dart randomly at a board, and this is what happens.
Girl, you've got to practice your aim. Go on, take it away. Tell us about this fantastic book.
Okay, so it's very colorful. I like the colors. And
Way to go with the positive.
I gotta start with the positive.
It's only
Honestly,
17 pages long. Yay!
honestly, for being such a short little thing, I did like the Batwoman story a bit. It was entertaining. I'll talk about the Supergirl portion later, but
Okay.
so it feels like I think you can kind of see when did they switch artists and everything during the Batwoman one, or did they
No,
just do, like, putting the art and artist right there in the middle of the story?
nope, right there in the middle of the story. There you go.
Page 5. 'Cause I was confused. I was like, so did we switch people? Because why are they putting the art and the artist right here?
I was confused also. You are not alone on that one.
Like, hey, surprise. Also, I was confused as to why she was carrying a picture around of the woman she was looking for, even though she knows what the woman looks like.
Oh, maybe she went to the Thomas Magnum School of Detective Agencies. I don't know.
She can go around because she thinks that this pharmaceutical company is evil. She can't exactly like this. Do you know this woman? I'm confused that she's using her real name. I'm like, yeah, okay. So it was just kind of. I also got some Fallout vibes from that little bobblehead dude that she knocks over, that's standing on top. It's like that interesting. But other than that, like, I kind of like the art. For some reason, her running looked a little funky.
Yeah, it looks like she's got to take a major shit.
I'm looking at the book now, and you're absolutely right. That whole breaking the bobblehead, that's such a prominent piece on that page, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? So you got to think. I mean, I was kind of like looking at it thinking, well, there's got to be something to it, right?
Yeah, she just didn't like the bobblehead, so she decided to destroy someone's. I mean, granted, it's ugly, but property.
One man's art is another man's trash, and vice versa.
It's just kind of, I don't know. And her running is just, who runs like that? Her chest is like full on.
You want to know who runs like that? Let me tell you who runs like that. Kids who have a backpack full of books and they're running across the street. Next time you go by a school and you see kids running to get to class, and that's exactly how they run. They have to lean forward to get the momentum, but they can't run at full sprint because of the weight on their back.
Yeah, well, she doesn't have a backpack, so that's ridiculous. I did like having Black Mask. He's kind of been up in the limelight a little bit lately. The things like he was in that crappy Birds of Prey movie, and so I like seeing Black Mask. I did like, so like I said, I did like the Batwoman story, but I do like Batwoman. On the other hand, Supergirl, and for some reason it felt like her story was a lot shorter than Batwoman's, but they're not the same length. It just, the Supergirl story was just so
weird.
It was so dumb.
So
I was like, why am I watching Supergirl cry and have the life is hard crisis? I'm like, of course you're gonna get fired. You missed a ton of work. I would have gotten and I was like, of course you're gonna. And then it took me a little bit to realize that freaking Clark Kent just up and kidnapped his cousin. Dropped all of her crap on the street. And or maybe he didn't. Maybe she took off. I can't freaking tell, because 1 minute she's there and then there's a streak of red and she's not wearing any red. And then.
Yeah, you're right. The first time.
Above her, and I'm like, what is going on? So the whole thing was ridiculous. I'm like, I don't want to listen to a teenage, angst. My life is hard. It sucks. I'm like, yeah, okay. Sick from the girl who can fly around and catch bullets and crap.
Bullets and crap. That is a superpower.
Yeah, she can change her hair color at will.
Yeah, that's just bonkers. That's just bonkers. Josh, what did you think? Is this actually a world's finest?
So you know that panel that we referenced on page 3 where it focuses on the bobblehead doll getting squashed?
Uh-huh.
That one panel so eloquently describes how I feel about this book.
Okay. Cool.
From Batwoman's running. I'm sorry, that's still distracting. Like, I'm reading through the book going, okay, I see that panel, and I'm like, well, there goes my concentration. To scrolling, as I'm reading through, the moth-looking penis head that is shooting Supergirl. Whose decision was it to change the color of that monster from purple on the cover to orange in the book? Who thought that was a good idea?
Maybe maybe they turned around and said to the colorist, and they turned around and said, you know what? When Josh looks at this book, he's going to call it a sperm monster penis head, so maybe it shouldn't be purple.
I'm sorry. If you're going to make design choices, keep it consistent for the love of all that's holy. Like, it's very similar to Batman 497 when Bane has Batman's head on one side on the cover, and then in the book when he breaks his back, it's on the other. It's the same logic. If you're gonna do something, keep it consistent between the cover and the page.
All right, okay.
But yeah, that panel on page 3 perfectly describes how I feel about the book.
I'm kind of with you guys on this one, I'm afraid. The first part, the Batwoman book, a couple of things popped out in my head. If you take out the panel on page after the cover, so that's page 1, I guess, page 2, 3, where she says discharged from the army for being gay. If you take that panel out, this could have been any female Bat character at all. And that's what spoils that story for me. I love Batwoman. I think the idea of her is great. I think her identity is great. I think the whole premise of her is fantastic. I do think that DC have no idea what to do with her. So what they do is they put her in this book that's kid-friendly because it's going to be aimed at the people that watch the TV show. It's got to be, because there's no other rhyme or reason to it. They put her in crazy panels like she's running. And then on the panel you mentioned, Freyja, where the where the artists and the writers credited, she's bent over and her ass is on. And I'm like, every time you see her ass is on show practically. It's like, I'm all for good curvy art as much as the next person, But for Christ's sakes, there's more to her than just that. There's got to be.
That same page, she's also not quite, but almost rocking a Jessica Cruz 3-finger hand.
Yep,
Almost. She got that extra finger in there.
Yeah, 4 this time.
don't we all have 4 fingers? All right, so again with Freyja, I like the black mask, which makes me think, and I know you'll roll your eyes at me, so I'm sorry for this, but this story would fit Spoiler more than it fits Batwoman because of their history together.
Yeah.
The fact that the mask killed her back in the day. As for the Supergirl story, I have no idea what's going on. Is it aimed at the TV show continuity because Catclaw's in there? Is it aimed at comic book continuity because the Superman that turns up doesn't look anything like the TV Clark Kent? It looks like regular Superman. But it's not regular Superman because nobody knows that Kal is Clark. So this is a hodgepodge of ideas that's just kind of thrown together to try and, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna, to con some fans out of the money on the basis that it's gonna be kind of like the TV show, but it isn't.
If that was the case, they should have made Supergirl's costume without the dress and do the pants.
Well, back in the day on the TV show, she used to wear the skirt. So.
Well, yeah, she used to, but she doesn't now.
Well,
But
what
the
I would
first
also-
indicator should have been the color change in the penis monster.
And also, I would like to point out that before you see the penis monster,
It's
there
on
is
the
a-
cover. How do you miss it?
all right. In the Supergirl story, before you get to the penis monster, on the page
Okay.
before it's a double spread, and you can clearly see her. She's fighting some bad guy. I think there's I can't make out who they are. Is it? Sorry.
The green one.
Yeah. Oh, is that the Evil Empress? Yeah, then you've got, yeah. So you can see quite clearly that she's wearing thigh highs, right? You can see when she lifts the train, she's wearing thigh highs. And when she's flying away from the grad students with the book bags who are able to stand up straight, unlike Batwoman, she's wearing thigh highs. But flip over to the page where she's fighting Penis Monster, and she's wearing low boots. You're like, you want to talk about the colours being wonky, at least keep the costume the same.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't change the pants on that one.
Yeah. Or fishnets. Why not?
You know what? At this rate, they might as well. Might as well cut her hair too.
She wears fishnets in the early season of the TV show, just saying, but you know, hey ho. So yeah, I had the misfortune of reading the first issue of this series a couple of weeks back, or when we got it. And I was really looking forward to it. I was like, oh, cool, a Batwoman book. And we know, Freyja, you agree with me, Batwoman deserves a good book. She deserves a good comic book, a good story, good writing, great art, something that's a little bit mature rather than just straight up superheroes. And yet, the Batwoman story in this makes her last run look like it's some fantastic masterpiece.
Yeah.
And you and I were both there, as was Josh, and it was nowhere near a masterpiece in any shape, way, or form. So
now it's the best way to describe it. This is like the Godfather Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just car
It's
crash.
a joke. By the way,
Yeah.
that's a shameless plug for Cinema Crusaders.
Yeah, that's why I'm ignoring it. So anyway,
Well done, Freyja. Go on, girl.
so my problem, I love Batwoman, but the whole her getting kicked out of the army thing that you brought up earlier, they could have removed that. The thing is that's not a law in the U.S. anymore. You can be gay and be in the military and whatnot. You know, they don't freaking care. You know, so that's done and over with. Just for all of you people outside of the U.S., we don't care anymore. You know, that. You know, don't ask, don't tell thing does not exist in the military anymore, according to the military personnel that I've talked to. So they don't give a shit. Also, it's just every time they bring it up, it's like every Batman comic. If they go back, I'm Batman because my parents died. We know. Move on. You like this character, move on. Don't focus on it. And that's why I keep doing her a disservice, and why her books, like Batwoman's books, never do well, is because they focus on that one aspect of her. I'm like, cool, we like her, you know, we know her backstory. Quit bringing it up. And like, it's like, and like I said, it would be like freaking Batman, be like, I fight crime every night because my parents died in the alley. And we get the flashback, just like how everyone's sick of that in the movies, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So every time she mentions getting kicked out of the military, Thomas and Martha Wayne get shot.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I was like, I'm like, okay, we know you're.
Batman argue.
we know you. And it's just, and also, it also with her, at least with the last issue. Sorry, I'm going on a rant because it irritates me. Because I love Batwoman and they keep screwing her up because they can't seem to get over this. And like her sexuality, yes, it's part of her, but it's not the only thing about her, you know, that people like. And she is a fleshed out, great character. And that's why she's so good in the actual Batman books, is because they don't focus on that as like the main focal point of her. Like that is part of who she is, but she's doing other things, you know? And the same problem, that's why the Batwoman book failed, because they kept focusing on she's a lesbian. We kept having flashbacks to her, you know, romance with whatever her freaking name was in every single book. And I mean, Batman would have sucked if every time he's like, this reminds me of that time I slept with Catwoman on top of this building, or I slept with Vicky Vale, or Talia al Ghul. Like, no one would read the books. It has nothing to do with her being a lesbian. It has everything to do with that no one cares. It's like no one wants to see Batman sleeping with someone every single freaking book and having flashbacks about it. Because you want a good storyline, and you're not getting a good storyline, and it's annoying. And they're doing it, and it's like repeating Martha's, the Wayne's death scene over and over again in every single freaking Batman movie. You don't need to see it. I was sick of it as a child because then what was it? It's like Two-Face killed my parents. I'm like, what? Why were you having that dream in this movie? So sorry. It's just them repeating things like this. It's not why the fans like these characters. It's because of the characters. It's not their backgrounds. It's the characters themselves. Anywho, sorry, I'm angry.
So for everyone who's listening and wondering why we don't stop Freyja rant when she gets like this, it's because she's bang on right. That's why. Freyja is absolutely bang on right. And I've said this loads of times. We said it when we talked about the Batwoman book. There is no reason whatsoever that Batwoman's sexuality should be the main focus of that character. Surely to God, we've gone past. We talk about how there's no new readership in comic books and that we're all older people that are reading comic books. Surely to God, we are past the titillation of two girls kissing.
Yeah.
Surely to God. I don't. Exactly. I tell you who's doing this really well. The Harley cartoon. There is genuine ramifications between Harley and Ivy at the minute. And for the first time and probably ever, I actually give a rat's ass about Harley because of that cartoon. I'll wait with bated breath to see how it's going to go. Not because they're a lesbian couple, not because she likes Ivy and Ivy. It's because you're invested in the couple. We've all been in love. We've all had relationships, and we all have that moment that scares us. But that doesn't define who we are. So why should it be the defining point in the comic books? So Freyja's absolutely bang on right. So absolutely. So us three will stand on that hill together. There you go. Cool.
That's a good way to end that book.
Yeah, definitely. better than the book ended, I'll tell you that for nothing. Yeah, cool.
Yep.
The reason they didn't start with Supergirl and just ended with it.
I mean, the Supergirl book is part of that book is just horrendous. So it makes you wish that the current Supergirl book was still going on. That's how bad it is. All right, okay. So our last book is the next 80th anniversary. And this time it's everyone's fed up, sick of, even though you've got 3 of them coming out in September. You've got the Joker War kicking off in Batman. It is, of course, the Joker, the 80th anniversary of the Joker, because obviously what we need is all new tales of the most overused character in DC, villainy. All right, now there's a swathe of creators on this book, so I'll just run through a couple just to give you some ideas. Writers, you've got people like Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Gary Whitta and Greg Miller, Denny O'Neill's on there, Pete J. Tomasi, Paul Dini, Eduardo Medeiros and Rafael Albuquerque, Tony S. Daniel and Brian Azzarello. Artists include Jock, Mikkel Jennings, Dan Mora, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Simone Bianchi, Riley Rossmo, that's how I want to say, sorry, Eduardo Risso, Rafael Albuquerque, so yes, Daniels, and Lee Bamijo. The Rafter Colours are on there. Georgie Belair's in there, she's great, we all know her. Ivan Palencia, he's great. We've seen him on Metals previously. Rob Lee's on Letters, which we've seen. We've talked about him already in the past. Clayton Cowles is on there. Tom Napolitano's in there as well. So basically, the current crop and some of the best of the past of the, I guess, Batman stroke Joker story writers, artists are in there from the collaborators. Josh, this was your choice. Son of a bitch. So, right. So, because it's an 80th and there's loads of stories, let's kind of cut to the chase on this one. Which stories worked for you and which stories didn't? There you go. Is that a nice setup for you?
It is.
Good.
So, I did like seeing the most iconic Joker covers throughout the book.
That was good.
So that was one thing I did enjoy. The one story that, for whatever reason, it was weird as shit, but I liked it. It was Two Fell into the Hornet's Nest. So the very last story, we're seeing Arkham Asylum in. It almost has the kind of like an updated feel of the 50s and 60s style of characters.
Yeah.
And even Batman and Robin still have that style.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know, it was just fun, and the artwork on it was so weird that I actually enjoyed it. Like the panel where Joker is pulling a Homer Simpson and choking Batman.
Why I oughta.
Why? Yeah, exactly. I got a kick out of that. The balding Joker, I don't know about you, but that was just twisted on page 96.
Okay.
And weird art choice. That last panel on page 96, it looks like Batman's not wearing pants.
Well, is this not a throwback? Because you got to think back, Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, these were the writers and artists of the Batman Damned book, which had bat penis in it.
True. But regardless, it was still kind of, and maybe that's just how Joker is looking at his environment.
Maybe.
But nonetheless, for a Joker story, that was the one I enjoyed the most. I could honestly pass on everything else.
Oh, that's a big shout. That is a big shout.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they even have, there's one panel, it was on page 85, where Batman is running. Is it me, or does he look like he's rocking a dad bod?
He looks like he's rocking a dad bod.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Batman is ripped. He's built his muscles all over.
Like this. He's ripped, built like this.
Exactly. He might as well be wearing a Snuggie at this point.
I didn't come off well in that. Thanks, isn't it?
Well, you're pulling it off better than what this one did. So there you go. It was interesting to see the different styles of Joker throughout the book, and I know they're essentially paying homage to the history of Joker in this book. We saw the same thing in the Robin 80th anniversary.
Yeah, but the Robin one had his first appearance in there. This has absolutely nothing. This is just all new stuff. There's no reprint of Batman 1. It's just all new stuff. And the part of that, as you've got to assume, is because in Batman 1, Catwoman also appears. Yeah. So are you going to repeat? Are you going to reprint Batman 1 for the Catwoman special that came out in between weeks? Or are you going to reprint it for this? So I don't know.
And this is probably the first time in a little bit that we've actually seen Batman's eyes. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of panels, both in the middle of the book. This is 101 pages worth of stuff. But I just found it interesting that they chose to have Batman's mask and you actually can see the eyes, kind of like how you see Michael Keaton's eyes just before he rips off the mask at the end of Batman Returns. Okay. Same thing. So I don't know. Little nuances like that were weird, but at the same time, it's a Joker book, so maybe they are just looking at it of this is how the Joker is seeing everything, and so we're gonna look at it through his sick, twisted, demented viewpoint.
All right. Okay. Cool. Frey, what did you think of this? Do you have any favorite stories?
No.
Joker had all 5 fingers though.
Yeah, he did. He did. I don't. It was 100 pages that I wish I didn't have to read. Thanks, Josh.
I'm sorry. Who made us read World's Finest?
At least mine were only 17 pages. This is 100. So, in the Kill the Batman, it was. I had questions about this storyline. Like, first of all, why would they tell everyone who Batman was? Like, everyone. When Dick Grayson's still around and all of the Robins are still around and like they can take up the mantle. But no, let's let everyone know that Batman was Bruce Wayne and show them the Batcave and Alfred's in on it. And that means everyone's going to know who Nightwing is and everyone's going to know who Orphan is and everyone's going to know who Batwoman is. And just like, what is this story?
Yep.
Pissed me off. I'm like, it's stupid. So also now everyone knows who Superman is because, they hang out together. They're like, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne used to hang out with Clark Kent, and everyone knows who Diana is, but that's beyond the point. Like, when one superhero gets unmasked, they figure out who everyone is. So it's just kind of like, well, no, everyone knows who everyone is, and this is stupid. And the only thing I did enjoy that Joker became a worker at the DMV. Like, he gets pleasure out of people's pain, and that's the best job. So, anyway, I didn't like any of the other stories, but then again, I am really done with just Joker everything right now. So,
yeah, I'm with you on this one. To be fair, when Josh picked this, I was like, God damn it. But I read it. I didn't mind Scars. I thought Scars was good as a tense little story. Made me remember what Scott Snyder's really good at writing, not these event epics that he tries to knock out of the park every time. Just stick to horror, kind of do the creepy stuff, because that was really good. I didn't mind what comes after a joke, although I thought that Michael Janin was copying what's an alley from Sunstone by Stephen Siege, the whole sort of like Dom look with the ponytail and the glasses. I was like, really? Are you that much of a fan of Stephen Siege? Which you should be, because that book's fantastic. But I like the idea of giving Punchline some weight. Introducing the Dovecore. Why was he wearing his Killing Joke outfit? I was like, there's got to be. I read that story 3 times, thinking I must have missed something, but I didn't. At which point, I'm not gonna lie, I gave up. I was like, I'm done. I'm like 4 stories in, and no, I'm done. It's not a character that intrigues me. It doesn't interest me. The idea that somebody's reasons for existence is just to do crazy seems to me like a bit of a lazy way out. It's like we don't have to plan for any rhyme or reason. We can just do whatever we want us to do something nuts, and just blame it because he's crazy. So therefore, it doesn't have to make sense. This is why Two-Face is so hard to write. It's because everyone can't keep up with the 2 jokes and stuff. Joker doesn't matter. It's a case of like, oh well, who makes no sense. Who cares? It's crazy. Oh, okay, fair enough. And
well, it's like we blame everything on Barry Allen when it goes to shit.
Well, that's because that's true.
Or I mean, seriously, you look at it, and what are the writers considering doing with the DC extended universe and films? Oh, we're going to use Flashpoint to reset everything
twice.
Yeah, so that's their go-to. Well, we want to change it. Okay, Barry, start running.
I get it. There are tropes in place that are lazy. I get it. I'm really not sure how much new stuff can come out on the Joker that still actually puts any sort of relevance to the character.
So
Scars is scary, not because of him, but because of everyone's reaction to him.
yeah.
The other stuff is just noise, and I'm hoping that this Joker war, especially with what's been announced on various websites and Twitter about what's going to happen, at least that sounds like something interesting, something a little bit different. It's not necessarily Joker-esque, but it sounds interesting. But
so let me ask you this, and I'll ask this to both of you. Would it benefit the books to take a 2 or 3 year hiatus and not do anything with Joker?
God, yes.
Yeah.
Do the same thing. Please do it with Harley.
Yes.
Take a break from Joker. Take a break from Harley. Let's give, and I would even say let's take a break from Raish, because we've had plenty of books that we've reviewed on this show where, it's going to be with Ra's al Ghul. Oh, cool. Not another Joker story. And then it ends up being shit.
You're absolutely right, because it's called a rogues gallery for a reason.
Yeah, let's give. I would like to see more stories with the Riddler. I would like to see more with the Penguin. Two-Face. Let's bring Hush back into it.
Ooh, Hush is always great.
See, even Freyja agrees.
Clayface.
Clayface would be fantastic.
I was a good guy though, because screw that. But yeah, like Batman has some of the best villains, but they don't ever use them. Is the problem. They're always focusing on like the poster children, and we haven't even really had a real Ivy, as a villain thing. She always pops up in something to do with Harley, but she hasn't really been doing anything, which is a freaking shame because she can do a lot, and there's other female villains as well, and like we even have like Prometheus that's not being used, and we have just huge lineup of villains that never get used. So it's ridiculous.
There you go.
Yeah, so take a 2 or 3 year hiatus from the villains that they always go to and show your writing ability and incorporate the others.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
That's what DC should do.
There you go.
But what do I know?
Well, you're the fan paying the books to buy the comics in the first place, aren't you? So
yeah,
Right. Okay. So on that note, that's the end of this episode. Thank you, Josh, for taking the time. Appreciate that, man.
Always.
Freyja, thank you very much.
No problem.
Excellent. So all that's left for me to say, as always, is don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favourite shows, including the recently recorded, go on, Josh, do your second plug,
Cinema Crusaders.
Well done. Woo! Freyja, K-Pop Cosmo.
Yep, K-Pop Cosmos. We try to get it out once a month. So
cool. And of course, you've got No Price Podcast featuring the Professor, myself, and the man who will not be nicknamed, Lucas, going everything with Marvel books. So there you go. What more could you want?
I feel like you should include Mr. Jones in that.
Not yet.
No, he's not there. He's the silent addition to the show.
He wants to be a big star, apparently.
Well,
Count Crow's reference, no one will get. All right, okay. All that's left then is for me, the machine, Hughes, to say adios.